9:15 on the morning show with Jeff and Will. We are back on this Monday morning as the sun continues to rise. We're looking at clear skies. Boom. Did you like that rhyme? It's a good rhyme. All right, fine. Nothing then, I guess,
I
from
didn't hear
Jeff.
it.
Whatever. I said,
What was it?
as the Monday morning continues to rise in skies. I'm not going to... It's too late. You missed it. Anyway, we got joining us as she does every Monday.
It's not been that good.
It was great. You just don't pay attention, and that's something you need to work on in the other room. Now, we're joining us as she does every Monday morning at this time. It's Tina Traster from the Rockland County Business Journal. Good morning, Tina. How are you this morning?
Good morning. I did not realize that you were our poet laureate.
Oh, stop. Thank you, though. I appreciate the compliment there. But
Yes.
But how are you doing this morning?
I am doing jolly, and I have so many things to talk about this morning.
Yes.
Let me jump right in. First of all, I want to let the county know that we are starting up a monthly Meet the Editor meetup.
Ooh.
Which means that once a month, and in this case on May 2nd, mark your calendars, at 8:30 in the morning at a place called Roasted, ROAST''D, which is a new coffee shop in the shops over at the Shops of Nanuet. At 8:30, we're going to hold a Meet the Editor session, and this will be an opportunity for folks to come out and chat with me and tell me what's on their minds and what coverage, what they think of our coverage, what they'd like to see covered, what they know, what they'd like to know. And I will endeavor to do my best to answer questions, but more importantly, to listen. So we're very excited to announce this, and we plan to certainly rotate the locations and possibly even, the times and the days. So, we may do a coffee in the late afternoon, or maybe meet up for ice cream somewhere as the weather improves. Anyway, stay tuned. Meet the Editor, May 2nd.
May 2nd. Gotcha. And
Okay.
That's at 8:30?
At 8:30. So that's number one. I think we had a week with some very uplifting news, including we reported on the Dr. Davies Farm planning in May to open the Red Barn Cidery, which is going to be a hard apple cidery. This will be very pleasant news to lots of folks who want this sort of thing in the county. The background on this is that Chris Davies Nevin, who is the great-granddaughter of the pioneering Dr. Davies, so fourth generation of the Davies family, she is taking the initiative to set up this Red Barn Cidery. I mean, the farm, which is 65 acres, has 4,500 apple trees spanning 40 varieties, and they have been producing sweet apple cider for eons. But this is going to be a new venture. And as we report, and as she explained to me, farming looks like it might be, I don't know why I even would say that it looks like it might be easy. I'm sure it's anything but easy. But the more important thing is Rockland is down to less than a handful of working farms. We used to have 200 here, half a century ago. We are becoming obviously more and more developed and urban. So the emphasis on saving open space is even more important, more pressing. Oh, no pun intended there. So she is she's initiating this new business, this new revenue stream for the farm to keep it operational, to keep it profitable, and to keep it there, to keep to make sure that this open space is preserved. The Dr. Davies Farm is a treasure, in the county, and something that generation after generation knows about and utilizes and looks forward to having. She emphasized that the cidery will be, in her words, a family business, a family venue, not a bar, that it will sell cider as well as beer and wine on tap and in cans. and that there will be local bands at times and local food trucks, as there always have been. Of course, this issue, she was sensitive to the situation that's going on in Van Houten Farms, which we've talked about many times on my program here. She said that she has made sure to cross all her T's and dot all her I's and make sure that this aligns with the town's zoning, because as we know, Rockland Cider Works in Orangeburg had also attempted to was really the first in the county to start up a hard cidery back in 2019, kind of right before the pandemic, and it has been tied up in litigation with angry neighbors, with the town of Orangetown, with the State Liquor Association, and the fate of that farm, the fate of that operation anyway, the cidery on that farm, it still remains in flux. We recently reported that the town of Orangetown has hired the LaBerge Group. That's the same group that came in when Orangetown absorbed the village of South Nyack. And they've come in to review a potential zone change on that site, which many say is where the Van Houtens should have started in the first place. So that remains still very much tangled up in the courts. It's my belief that the operations, at least for the apple cidery, are temporarily suspended, and so I think that there was much. It seemed I could tell that there was much jubilation and excitement, just a ton of Facebook conversation all around this issue when we reported it. Mm-hmm. So, any thoughts or comments? If not, I'll move on to the next topic.
Well, we shall certainly see how that moves forward. I'm not sure where this is certainly not my area of expertise, but we shall certainly see how that moves forward. But I do want to make sure we get to everything this morning, because I know you said you had a lot.
Yep, always a lot. So on the subject of open space, funny enough, two stories on kind of the same topic. So the county has in total purchased 26 acres to preserve as open space under the open space acquisition program, and we briefly reported on one parcel in New City, but I want to start the conversation by talking about the other parcel, and then I'll circle back. So I believe that people in the county are probably aware of the Gordon family. This is a family that has been in Pomona since the 1950s, and Edmund Wyatt Gordon, who's turning 102 years old in June.
Wow.
I know. Well, I know how to know. I'd love to know what the secret is. So he is an esteemed doctor and scholar, and along with his wife, his late wife, Susan Gitt Gordon, who was a pediatrician, they raised 4 children in Skyview Acres, which, as many know, or if you don't know, is a cooperative community of some 40-something houses on 110 acres in Pomona. So the Gordons have sold to the county's open space acquisition program almost 14 acres, which is situated, it's sandwiched in between Route 45 and the Palisades Parkway in Pomona. And they sold these 14 acres for $1.39 million from 2 Gordon family trusts. And this acreage will remain open space or parkland is what the covenant says in perpetuity. So it's a big parcel of land. It is very close to the Conklin farm. Speaking of farms, it's in that Route 45 corridor where there is a lot of open space. We had the pleasure of interviewing Chris Gordon, who is Edmund's son, and I really enjoyed that interview because he was talking to me about how important this open space was to his parents. When they came here in the 50s and much later on, they recognized that this large parcel of land could potentially fall to the development of commercial development.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess as a prophylactic or precaution, they bought that land. And it has sat empty for all these decades. So now that piece of land, which is just, woodlands and wetlands, and also potentially a short half-mile trail, which already apparently exists in some primitive form and is named in Susan Gordon's memory. But the Gordon family is hoping that the county will organize a way to, I think, improve and maintain a trail in his mother's honor. So the Gordon family, I urge everybody to take a look at the story because the Gordon family has a fascinating history. They have made a huge impact here in the county. They are the founders of CEJS, CEJJES, which is an institution that includes the African American Historical Society of Rockland County and other the Charles M. W. White Memorial Art Gallery, and some other aspects. So this is a family that's had great influence in the county, and they've left behind quite a legacy, mm-hmm. and that legacy now includes this really giant parcel of land, which remains habitat, a much, much needed habitat.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
We do have a caller that has a question for you. I'm not sure what he wants us to call him at this point. Good morning, caller. You're on with Tina Traster.
Good morning, Tina. My name is Igor. I'm looking forward to meet the editor, definitely at the coffee shop and the other future events. But more importantly, I live in Clarkstown, and I'm curious, do you have any insight who may be running Clarkstown supervisor position?
Well, we know that Justin Sweet is running on the Democratic ticket.
Okay.
Let me see.
Now, are we certain 100% that George Holman will not be running once again?
Well, we will know that by the day's end because the deadline, which had been the 6th, was pushed up to today, and we will know by the day's end. As of now, as of my latest check, he has not thrown his hat in the ring. I think he's probably finally accepted that the court ruled as the court ruled, and he understands that. There is another candidate, and I'm blanking on who that is.
Clem?
Who?
No. I said my throat was clogged. All right, so we don't know anybody from the Republican side yet.
No, we do not know anybody. It will really be a late day surprise to see who ends up on that ticket.
We'll see.
Great, thank you. Thanks, Tina. Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Thank you, Igor. When we spoke to him earlier this morning, he seemed to be pretty certain on the fact that it's in the books, which is what he was saying wasn't the case in the past. So it's up on the website now. So he seems to have accepted that the court ruled the way they ruled. It's just a matter of fact of the lawyers and whether or not they're going to appeal, which he seemed not necessarily too enthusiastic about doing, but that's still up in the air. And like you were saying, day's end, we'll see, I suppose, in that regard.
I think it's probably clear that we are going to learn that he will land elsewhere and will not be in this race for supervisor for the town of Clarkstown in 2022.
Yeah, probably.
2023, sorry.
Yeah.
Just go back a year.
I know.
Yeah, no, I think that's, I think that it's settled. It was settled. I think it is settled. I don't know who the Republican candidate is. There isn't anybody right now, but there probably, I assume there will be by the end of the day. But this played out in the courts, and that's how it goes. You don't always win.
Well, Perhaps Igor will throw his hat into the ring, and we'll see.
Perhaps he will.
But
Perhaps he will.
Thank you so much, Tina Traster from the Rockland County Business Journal. We do appreciate for you giving us your insight into the Rockland business world, and as do our listeners. If any of our listeners right now want to find any more information online about the Rockland Business Journal, they can do so by visiting RC Biz. That's B-I-Z, rcbizjournal.com, or you can visit their Facebook or Twitter, Rockland County Business Journal. You can just look that up and you'll find it there. You'll also be able to find out some more information, I imagine, on the Meet the Editor, which is coming up next month at 8:30 May 2nd, you said?
May 2nd
May
at
2nd.
8:30. Not too early.
Not too early. No, not at all. Not at all. And what? One more time, what's the location again?
Okay, so it's a relatively new place called Roasted. The word roast apostrophe D, Roasted. It's we actually wrote a story about them. It's excellent, sort of artisanal coffee.
Mm-hmm.
It's really outstanding. It's something very needed in the county, and it's right in the shops of Nanuet. So lots of parking. I would think at 8:30 in the morning it shouldn't really be a problem for parking. And they have a comfortable, seating in there, and it should be fun. I'm really looking forward to getting out there and hobnobbing with the county.
Fantastic. We'll hear all about that in May. In the meantime, we will talk to you next week. Have a wonderful week, Tina, and enjoy. We will speak to you then.
Okay, have a good week, everybody.